Hey everybody, welcome back to Beer Time with Big Bird, that really ridiculous show where once a week I crack open a new beer, taste it, and then talk about it with you guys. And then I just talk about whatever else is on my mind that's semi-beer related. As per the usual arrangement, I am your host and guide through our beer time adventure, that big bird looking fellow they call Colin. So come down and join me on today's I guess it's going to be the final day we're going to do a non-alcoholic beer in this very short-lived non-alcoholic beer series. So without any further ado, let's go find out what's on tap today, shall we? All right, so welcome back, everybody. Today we have a probably my favorite kind of standard non-alcoholic beer that I've learned to enjoy, and that is the Heineken 0.0, the lovely imported Holland lager that is very familiar to it's very familiar to like the regular Heineken. I'm not going to spoil it until I taste it, obviously. So we're going to pour this bad boy out, even though I've had it before, and I'm going to tell you about that in a second. Look at that, perfect pour. Another reason I like this beer, it's got good color. So if you're if you're going to drink a beer out of a glass, looks like a regular beer, kind of looks like a Bud Light or your standard kind of light domestic. On the nose, still tastes like a beer, or it smells like a beer. It smells like a nice, cool, crisp, refreshing lager, which we all have learned to love on this show. If have we not? Have you not seen my Christmas beer time special, where I just did 24 straight days of nothing but German imported beers, which are basically all lagers? If you haven't seen that, it's right here on the channel. There's a playlist. I think I don't remember exactly what it's called. It's like Christmas time, beer time, or something like that. But I highly recommend those. They're a little bit more highly produced. Did a beer show every single day, and that's kind of what spawned this abomination that we call Beer Time with Big Bird. So let's go ahead and taste this bad boy. Yes, just like I said, tastes like a standard Heineken. If you've had a Heineken before, it's just kind of it's a nice, it's got a nice round body for a lager. It's a little darker than some of the other, German lagers and stuff like that you typically get. It just tastes a little less than, because obviously it's got no alcohol in it. But much like the beer we did last week, this still tastes like a beer. I have, in the previous days between last week's show and this week's show, I've tried a number of other non-alcoholic beers. The and there's been a trend that has been created, and all western the western breweries that have gone non-alcoholic and are making craft non-alcoholic beers, they all generally taste very similar, and they don't taste like this. Some people say they taste like a beer. I've yet to find one that tastes like a beer. We'll put it that way. I mean, some people might like those, and good on them. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. But if you're like a true beer lover, it's probably not really going to do it for you. If you're going to be living that lifestyle and that's what you want to adopt, and you can adjust your palate accordingly, then maybe that world's for you. But for me, doing my dry 30, looking for like a nice replacement for a beer, that's just not where we're at. This, go imported all the way. And Heineken, I found, is something that I've actually been able to find at a couple bars when I've gone to them. Some gas stations even will have a 6-pack of it, so it's relatively easy to find, which has been really nice. So let's talk about what I had said in the opener. This is going to be the last NA beer show, for a number of reasons. But frankly, what I've learned through this little journey so far is, once you find a non-alcoholic beer that you like, you can venture out and about, but odds are you're going to find a couple that you like, and those are going to be the ones that you stick with. If you're into that kind of new crafty non-alcoholic beer movement, there might be a little bit more selection in there for you. But if you're just doing it to not drink alcohol for 30 days, it's probably not something you're going to be into. I encourage everybody to try it, If you've never had it, you might find, a new niche of things that you really like in life. But for me, that's just not going to happen. And I don't know how many more of these shows we could do without it just becoming incredibly repetitive. There's very little flavor difference in them. They're all pretty similar. I did have an O'Doul's lager the other day, which wasn't too bad, but it was a little kind of on the sweet side, which just kind of made it taste really weird. But today I went back to the old Heinekens because, again, it tastes like beer to me. But if you want a nice replacement for like your craft beers, like your IPAs, or even some, depending on whatever you're into, honestly, you're just not going to find something that replaces that. There's no two ways around it. It's just not the same world. It's a totally separate deal. So we're not going to do that anymore. I'm going to call it right here and right now. Technically, we'd have 2 more of these things to go. I opened the floodgates back up, if you will, on August 6th, which happens to be a Friday, the day before my wife's birthday. So we're gonna get back into it, I think, on my wife's birthday. I think that'll be the first day I jump back into that game. But so we'll do something instead. We'll do something here. I don't know what it is yet. I'll come up with something. I got a week to figure it out, so I'm not that worried about it. I could be creative. But we're gonna be done with these NA beers. It's just, it is what it is, man. And honestly, if you're gonna do a sober 30 like that, I don't think it should be necessarily as easy to replace, your beer that you've been drinking like normal. That would remove part of the challenge, if you will. It almost feels like cheating when you're having a non-alcoholic beer and you're not drinking beer that month. It seems kind of like a cheat to me. So we're not going to do that here on the show. I don't know, again, what we're going to do. I'll find something else we can review, or maybe we'll just dive into some other beer-related topics or something like that. But we're going to put it on hiatus for now. I might still be drinking a non-alcoholic beer while we're doing it because, I found one I like. I found the Heinekens. They're pretty good. Then I can't remember the name of that German beer we did last time, but that's really good too. A little harder to find, obviously, but if you have access to stuff like that, get out there and try them. They're not bad. These imported European beers without alcohol, I don't know exactly what they do, but they do a pretty good job of it. But other than that, I had a birthday yesterday. It was pretty cool. I turned 35. Cue the music. We're not going to do music. What am I kidding? I don't want to try to do that. That's too much work. But tomorrow, just a reminder, everybody, tomorrow is a big show. We got another guest. We're going to be doing a distance cast. So we'll be doing it over Discord. We got our buddy Jake Lines. He's coming in for half a show. Segments 3 and 4 tomorrow. We're going to be talking kind of some really big picture liberty, freedom type stuff, and where those kind of founding things are actually rooted. And we're going to kind of pontificate on why they don't come from government and how they come from a higher power, or that's, I guess, what the conversation is going to be involving, and we'll see where that goes. And he's going to hang out for the grab bag segment, and we're going to have a really good time. So be sure to tune in tomorrow at noon right here in the Salt the Streets YouTube for episode 130 Salt the Streets podcast. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. We're probably going to talk about the Jan 6 hearings that have been coming up, that have been happening recently. That's been a whole thing, and we've got a whole fun-filled show packed with just tons of rank punditry and lots of liberty-based conversation. So it'll be fantastic. Other than that, I think we're just going to wrap it up here today. Happy Friday, as per the usual arrangement. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend, and I hope to see you tomorrow right here at noon. Cheers.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.